In this video, we're going to talk about passing arrays as parameters. Assume that we have a method that is going to average 5 numbers. This could be written as a function with a parameter list of 5 int values. This implies that each of those parameters will have a corresponding argument, that the value will be copied from the argument to the parameter variable. And inside the method, we will have some code that takes each of these parameters and sums them together, after which we get the average. But there are 3 problems when we approach programming in this way. These problems are based on the idea of what if our original problem changes its size? Perhaps we only need to average 4 or maybe 6 values, one different than what we have here with 5. We either are going to write a new method that takes fewer or more arguments, or we're just going to go modify this method that has 5 and change the code to fit. Well, again, the problem may change its size later, and we would have to repeat this process. It's very obvious that when the number of values that we need to sum to find the average were something in the range of 1,000, this approach is very problematic. A more efficient way is to pass an array of values. This does not restrict us to the number of elements in it, and the method could sum whatever elements in the array, be it 4, 5, 6, 1,000. The function that is implemented in the method would not change. It would just depend upon elements in the array, because one argument value is copied to the parameter. No matter the size of the array, we're only going to do one copy operation for that, not one for each element. We're only going to copy the reference variable. Now, here's a consequence of that. Since the argument array reference variable's contents is copied to the parameter variable when the method is called, there are now 2 references that refer to the same memory location. These 2 references are called aliases, 2 different names for the same thing, much like a given name and a nickname for a person. While in the method, if the parameter variable were changed to some other value, it would reference a totally different array. It does not affect the argument value. But if the method uses that parameter alias to modify element values of the array, then the invoking code that passed the argument of the array reference will notice all of those changes. If this is intentional, it's a great way to use methods to initialize or modify arrays. If it's unintentional, this is a great way for methods to corrupt data. Understand the implication. Although the method may change the parameter to point to a new array in memory, which does not affect the argument, changes to the element of the alias will affect the invoking code with the argument.